Why do most photographers pick a niche and struggle to make any money with it? I'll tell you exactly what to avoid and what to choose instead. My name is Chris Pieta, and I've been running my photo and video business since 2019, but these days I spend most of my time in my education company, Creative Biz Launch. In this video, I'll show you the 4 things that make a photography niche actually profitable, why most photographers get it completely wrong, and I'll break down the exact framework I used to find the perfect niche. The video you're about to see is a lesson for my free community. If you want more resources like this, click the link below and get free access. Riches are in the niches. The more you niche down, the more money you can make. The more you niche down, the more likely it is you'll land clients. The more you niche down, the easier it will be to build a business. So why do we want to niche down? We will increase our expertise and specialization. And this will be what people see when they see our service. If you saw a photographer that does real estate, that does lifestyle, that does product, landscape photography, all these things in their portfolio, they're kind of scattered and you're not really sure what service they provide. So we want to niche down so that we can become an expert in a category. We can solve a specific problem for clients in a certain category. Someone that does all sorts of photography won't understand what a certain type of client experiences. And even if they do, even if that photographer understands what all these clients do, the clients don't think that they will understand them. And that's what it really comes down to. The perception of how the clients will feel when they talk to that photographer. Because if someone's doing all sorts of different things, well, then the lead, the client isn't going to feel like they'll be understood here. If you're niche down, clients are way more likely to pay a premium for you because you're an expert in a very specific field. You're really good at doing product photography for food and beverage, okay? Or you're really good doing outdoor brand like landscape photography, right? And because of this, clients are more likely to trust you and they're more likely to work with you. So let's walk through an example here. We have 2 photographers. Photographer A, they can photograph anything pretty well. They're flexible. They're a generalist. They might need outside guidance from the client because yes, they do everything, but if it's like a specific situation, they might have to talk and get extra help from the client. They're going to charge lower rates because of this, and they're not perceived as an expert. Okay. Again, this is what people perceive you as. It doesn't matter how you see yourself. It's how the clients, how leads perceive you. Next, we have a product photographer for wellness brands. So this is more niche down. They're doing both product photography, so that's niche down, but also targeting wellness brands. So they understand the unique problems that wellness brands face. This is something that photographer A doesn't. They can speak to the solutions that the wellness brand wants. So when they're talking to the brand, they can clearly illustrate like, hey, we've done this for other wellness brands in the past. We want to do this for you so that you can increase your sales, boost your brand awareness, whatever, right? And they're very experienced with this specific style of photography, which is important for the client's perception of you. And they perceive you as an expert here. And because of this, you're going to get paid higher rates because you're an expert, because you can talk in terms of what the client wants, and you'll deliver better results at the end of the day. Okay, so in the real world, this might be more relevant to you. So let's say you have some chronic knee pain, and who would you go to solve this? Would you go to like your general doctor, or would you want to go to a more specialized doctor? So here, let's walk through this example. You've got some chronic knee pain and you're a runner. Okay, how can we fix this? Okay, if you go to a general practitioner, well, they treat patients of all ages for a wide variety of conditions. They do everything. They will do common colds, they'll do chronic disease management, injuries, everything. And general practitioners, they earn a salary reflective of that. They're going to earn like $200K a year, let's just say $180,000 a year here. And that's an okay salary for a doctor. It's nothing crazy, right? They're going to see a lot of patients each and every day with a lot of different conditions. And these are like quick appointments, like 15 to 30-minute appointments. Like you've been to the doctor, you know how this goes. And if there is a situation where they can't solve something, they'll refer you to a specialist. Okay. So Dr. B here. This is a sports medicine physician specializing in knee injuries for athletes. They are niche down. So they are focused on treating athletes with knee injuries and pain. That's what they do. And they've become an expert around that. They know everything about the knee. They know what happens. They've dealt with hundreds of people that had the same issues you have, so they know how to solve it. And because of this, they earn a higher salary. They're earning $300K plus a year because they're an expert, because they can solve this specific problem here. And here, they actually spend more time with each patient. So since they're handling more complex issues, they're spending more time with each and every patient here because they're an expert. And this person, they're actually sought after by people with this pain, with athletes with various backgrounds, because they know this person can help them. And this is what happens with finding your niche as well. By niching down, this is what you turn into. You get to command a higher salary. You are the expert at this. This is you. And this is only possible by niching down. So hopefully I've illustrated why it's important to niche down in this like real world example here. So let's actually niche down. Cool. So first off, a niche helps you eliminate competition. So let's niche down a few levels here. So we start as a photographer. Cool. We niche down further. Product photographer. Great. One more layer. Food and beverage product photographer. Okay, so we've gone down 3 layers here. Okay, lastly, food and beverage product photographer with a focus on breweries. So each level that we niche down here, we're actually eliminating a layer of competition because we become an expert every time we niche down. We increase our perceived perception of us being an expert every time we niche down, because if we're a food and beverage product photographer focusing on breweries, well, breweries are going to perceive us as an expert at that thing. We only work with breweries. We know all the shots that are going to be incredible. We know how to showcase their beer that looks a beautiful way. We know how to take photos of their brewery, right? We know how to do all these things for a brewery. And we did that by niching down. Now, if we were just a food and beverage product photographer, yes, we're still probably really good at taking photos of beer and at breweries, but there's less trust than being niched down further like this. So the thing here is, like, if you're just starting out, the further you niche, the more you niche down, the more of an expert you'll be able to paint yourself as without even having to have the experience. Solely by the fact that you're niching down, people perceive you as more of an expert here. Okay, so how do we find a niche? The goal is to find a niche that makes us money and that we enjoy. There's a lot of niches out there that don't make any money, and there's a lot of niches out there that we probably wouldn't enjoy doing. So the goal here is to combine the two, find a niche that is both profitable and enjoyable for us. So the guiding principle is going to be to sell to a niche with a pain point. We want to sell to a niche that has some sort of pain point. It's easier to sell water to a thirsty crowd than to one that's super hydrated, right? So if you're at a park on a hot day with a cooler, you're probably going to sell more water than if you're selling it on a cool day next to a water fountain. This is what we want to be doing. We want to be selling water on a hot day in the park, not next to a water fountain. The more pain someone experiences, the more likely it is that they'll want our service here, okay? The more pain someone's going through, the more likely it is they'll want our service, and the more likely it is that they'll pay more for our service. So there's going to be 3 main pain points that we can cover here, and I'll walk through these in just a second here. Bear with me because this may sound kind of abstract, but I'm going to tie it back to the creative industry and how you can apply it in your video or photo business, right? Cool. So the big 3, there's going to be 3 big pain points for people. They're in wealth, health, and relationships. So the bigger the pain point, the more people are willing to pay to solve for that pain point. In terms of wealth, it's painful being poor. In terms of health, it's painful being unhealthy. In terms of relationships, it's painful being alone. So yes, you can be poor, unhealthy, and alone and still be happy, but that's the exception, not the rule, okay? So I didn't make this up. Like, I'm not trying to put this on you. This is just what reality is. So it's important to embrace reality for what it is, okay? So health. So physical pain. Your service can help people get healthier. So for example, lose weight with Ozempic. That solves a pain point for people. Personal training that will help you look jacked. You're solving a pain point there. Healthy meals delivered to your door. These are all services you've probably heard of, and they solve a pain point. And they've been around for a while, other than Ozempic, because people keep experiencing this pain. People want to look muscular. People want healthy meals delivered to their door because it's going to be easy for them to eat healthy. People want to lose weight with very low resistance. That's what Ozempic's for, right? Now, I'm not supporting any of these. I'm just illustrating examples here. Wealth. So you can be in financial pain, okay? So financial pain, right? If you're solving for that pain point, your service is going to help people make money. People don't want to be broke. It's painful being broke. So your service can help them become wealthy. So for example, learn how to make money with your camera. Someone who's taking my courses, well, they're probably experiencing a pain point that they're not able to make an income from photo or video. So that's the benefit that my course solves, right? For product photographers, my photos will increase your website conversion. So we're helping a brand get more wealthy. It's painful that they're not hitting whatever financial goals they have. So our photos can come in and help them increase their revenue. Our videos will grow your social media and get you sales. So again, if you're a videographer, you can help build up a brand's social media, and that's going to result in sales. We're helping them get wealthier. So a lot of the niches that I'll be walking through are in the health niche. There's not much, or in the wealth niche. There's not many health niches that creatives go into. So wealth is going to be the main one that we're talking about here. But relationships. So this is emotional pain. Your service helps people form relationships. So for example, my photos will get you more dates on dating apps. Here, you might be a headshot photographer, a lifestyle photographer, and you've chosen your niche in the relationship space, and you're helping people get more dates on dating apps, right? Some people are lonely and they don't want to be lonely and they're feeling pain because of that. Your service can help alleviate that pain. Okay, cool. Here for a clothing brand, you'll look incredible in our new fall clothing lineup. Okay, so clothing brands can be catering to this emotional pain people are feeling with their new fall lineup. Meet other single people at our bar. So bars, a lot of them cater towards this emotional pain, whether it's meeting people or selling alcohol for whatever reason. Bars cater to that. Okay. Lastly, so I'll capture your engagement / wedding day and you can cherish it forever. So this isn't so much emotional pain of being alone, but you're still catering to the relationship niche. People want to have those precious memories. They want to be able to cherish them. You're in that relationship niche, helping the couple remember their special day. Okay, so these are the three main niches. So let's tie it back to creative industries. First, before we tie it back, we still have a few more things we have to cover. So people don't want to be in pain and they want to get out of it. So we've covered part one of finding a niche. So there are 4 criteria of any niche. Number 1 is the pain point. So that's the first thing that we covered. So we covered health, wealth, and relationships. There are people inside of these categories that are experiencing some sort of pain. Next, the next thing that we have to target is that we have to cover is that niche easy to target? The third thing, does the niche have spending power? And 4, is it a growing market? So let's dive into these. So number 1, we already covered. So are they in pain? So physical, emotional, financial. If they are, that's good for selling a service, okay? Number 2, is the niche easy to target? So if someone's in pain and we want to be working with those types of people, it should be easy to identify your target market. So if we can easily identify our target market, those leads that we talked about earlier, those eyeballs, if we can easily identify them and target them, it's going to make our marketing way more efficient. So for example, if we're searching for leads because we want to cold email them, well, if we can have criteria that we can filter by, so for example, marketing directors at companies of 10 to 50 people in the food and beverage space, well, we can filter by that criteria and then find a list of thousands of people that meet those criteria and then email those thousands of people. And that's what I'll be showing you in the leads course. Or if you're targeting a specific demographic here, you can run ads to that. So if you're doing dating photography photos, you could target single men, 30 to 40 years old in New York City, and you can run ads to that specific demographic. So it's easy to target those people. And if you can target people easier, that allows for more personalized messages and more effective messaging. So you want it to be easy to target whoever's in your niche so you can actually get your service in front of them. Okay, next, spending power. So we want the target audience to have the financial means to actually pay us. If they're in pain, but they don't have any money to pay us, well, it's going to be hard for us to sell our service to them. So for example, if we're a headshot photographer, do you think a college kid can pay us more or a corporate professional? Well, corporate professionals are going to have income, right? College kids don't have much income. They don't have expendable income. corporate professionals are more likely to have that income. So it makes more sense for us to want to work with corporate professionals. Now here I'm talking, now college kids may still need your service, but I'm here telling you how to build a business that's profitable and doesn't cause you pain, that you can actually sell your services for a high ticket, and corporate professionals will be more likely to do that for you. If you're a product photographer or a local videographer, what's gonna pay more? A small coffee shop or an online direct-to-consumer cold brew brand? So both in the coffee niche, both kind of like selling a very similar thing, but the small coffee shop, well, they're going to be making a lot less revenue in their business compared to an online direct-to-consumer brand that has lower margins and maybe making a lot more money. So targeting that online cold brew brand is probably going to be a lot better in terms of spending power and selling your services for them. Now, you can offer, now the thing with this is like, you can offer the same exact thing to both of these, and the small coffee shop will be willing to pay you like $10 a photo, and the direct-to-consumer brand may be paying you $200 a photo, and that's for the same thing, right? Now, local mom and pop versus a local chain. So again, if we have a local mom and pop sandwich shop on the corner versus like a Subway, or not Subway, like a regional chain, a small local chain, the local chain is going to have more spending power than that local mom and pop shop. Okay, so if you're working with people with spending power, you'll get paid what you're actually worth and what you want to get paid. Now, I'm not saying you can't work with the smaller companies. You can definitely work with them, but that's not going to really keep your business growing quickly. We want to work with those people with spending power, and then if we want to like give back to the community, then sure, we can work with those smaller businesses too to help them in a more meaningful way. But to first like build up our own business foundation, our own security, we should target those people with spending power first. We get paid what we're worth. Okay, lastly, a growing market. So we want to be targeting, well, ideally we're targeting a niche that's within a growing market and not a shrinking market, right? So a growing market tends to have a lot more spending power than a shrinking market. This helps us with long-term security. So if there's an industry that's growing, we can grow alongside with it. So in 2024, e-commerce is growing, brick and mortar is shrinking. Electric cars are growing, gas cars are shrinking. E-learning is growing, traditional education is shrinking. So these are just a few examples of markets that are growing and not growing. So ideally, you pick something that checks off all 4 boxes. Now, if you're able to check off all 4 of these, if you're able to check off the pain point, the easy to target, the spending power in the growing market, then you have an incredible niche. That is really powerful. It's going to be way easier for you to sell your service for high rates inside of that niche. If you check 3 out of 4 of these boxes, that's good too. 2 out of 4, not bad. But the more you can check, the easier it will be for you. So you want to do this work early on in terms of finding your niche so that you can check as many of these boxes as possible so that it's easier for you to grow a business. Cool? We don't want to make this too hard for us. Now, for myself, when I was picking my niche, I didn't know any of this. People just told me to niche down. I didn't understand why, but these were people that were smarter than me. They've done this themselves. And I was like, okay, I'll just listen to what you're saying. I'll niche down. I knew that product photography would be profitable because I knew that I could target brands and my work would make those brands money. So I knew that in my head, but I didn't really understand like the how behind that. But my niche, it kind of just happened to be good. I kind of got lucky when I chose it. I didn't know this foundation. If I had this, I would have probably chosen a different niche that was a lot more profitable, but I'm still happy with food and beverage product photography. I'm not saying food and beverage product photography isn't profitable. It's a great niche to choose. Like you can do this too. But within that, there are certain spaces and avenues that you can go down to niche further down that you can make more profitable. So for me, it was hard to really set myself up in the space when I started as a product photographer. So I niched down further. I worked for free. I built up credibility and I offered a really fantastic customer experience, and that helped me early on. So here was my kind of progression. I started as a photographer. I was doing everything. I was doing landscapes. So I was doing landscapes, all this stuff, lifestyle photography, portrait work, cityscape stuff, some product stuff, working with local, doing free work for like local coffee shops, stuff like that. But I didn't really know what I wanted to niche down into. But product photography seemed good, so I started with product photography. And then I chose food and beverage product photography because I was working in the food industry. If you don't know, like building a business wasn't my first thing. I went to college for chemistry, then worked in regulatory in like the food industry for 4 years before starting my business. So I knew the food industry. So that's kind of why I chose food and beverage. And I was really technical. And I was really good with like the camera flashes, camera settings, all this like really technical stuff. So that led me to really focus on like action photos. So I had like these photos of like water splashing. Actually behind me, you can see some of my early work. So like this, you can't see that, but there's like an ice cube falling in there. That's like water splashing on this bottle. And that was kind of like what I niched down to. And once I was in that niche, I was able to land clients really consistently because I was targeting a very specific market. The market had a pain point. It was in wealth. They were easy to target because I was able to cold email them using this criteria. A lot of them had spending power because they were mostly online brands. And some were growing, some were shrinking. So I didn't really have this third part. I could have niched down further into like something like, I don't know, like at the time, I think CBD was big and like other things like that. So I could have niched down further into those things, but there's always market trends change over time. So I didn't check this, but ideally you can also check this growing market trend. Okay. Over time, I actually expanded my niche though. So I did start with these action product photos. But then I pulled back the layer and I only did food and beverage product photography because I already had a client base. I had like 10, 15 clients up on my website, client success story. So I had built up my trust, and that's when I could expand my niche. I was already perceived as an expert because I had a big portfolio. I had case studies, I had testimonials, so I had credibility. So I expanded my niche a bit further. And then I had people like coming to me after I've been working at this for like a year, people asking me if I could take photos of like their random other products. So I worked with like a jewelry company, still do. There were other brands that I worked with that weren't in that food and beverage niche, but I was only able to work with those brands after I've proved myself by niching down early on, landing those clients within that niche, expanding that niche, and then kind of like expanding it over time. Cool. So homework for today. This is really important. We're going to find our niche. So go through this exercise, pain point, right? Easy to target, purchasing power, growing market, and then we're going to niche down 3 to 4 levels. Okay. So we want to be able to find 3 to 4 levels down. So we'll start with wealth, for example, wealth, then product photography for food and beverage brands, product photography for food and beverage brands specializing in action. So we niche down a few levels here. So again, with relationships, headshots for singles, headshots for single men, headshots for single men who are corporate professionals. Relationships, weddings, wedding videos, intimate wedding videos for elopement. So this niches down a few levels here. So with this, your homework, find your niche. With this, it's going to help you so much, make way more money in your business. Riches are in the niches. I'll see you in the next video. Thank you for investing your time today into your growth. If you want more videos like this, join my free community where I have hours of free courses you can go through. Join today using the link below, and I'll see you in there.